Hey, what's going on everyone? NoZoupForYou here, and it's been a few months, and by few I mean maybe double a few months. I don't know, 3-4 months. I think my last video was about the USS Johnston coming out, and it's out now. So, we're going to do a review of it. Now, I really, really wanted to love this ship. You know how much I love this ship. You know how important I think this ship is, and you know for the past 4 or 5 years, or however long I've been playing, probably since day one, I said this ship needs to be in the game. We've got plenty of Fletcher classes in the game. We've got the Kid, we've got Fletcher proper. I mean, there's a lot in there right now. Black, but this fills a huge gap in a historic sense, because everybody knows about the USS Johnston and what it did at the Battle of Samar and facing off against the Center Force and just the legend of it, you know, David versus Goliath. I've gone into it a lot, and I've done a video about that specific battle that you can find in my YouTube video somewhere. I think I did that like 5 or 6 years ago. So, that being said, I know a lot of you have wanted this ship in game, and here we have it now. And I'm going to be honest, I'm just going to come out and say it. I'm a little disappointed. I'm a little disappointed on every aspect of this ship. First and foremost, I'm disappointed that they went the doubloon route. 30-something thousand doubloons if you want it. That's a lot of money right there. That's not cheap for the Admiral's package, and I think that's the only package available. I didn't see it any other way. So, right off the bat, I mean, I can't do the math right now, but 30,000 doubloons, I mean, that's close to $100, in between $50 to $100. So, if you want the ship, you gotta shell out a lot of money for it. So, I was hoping they would do it for coal, being that it's a tier 9, or maybe steal some way that allows more players to get it than those that want to shell out that amount of money, which I didn't shell out. I had doubloons sitting around. So I'm very glad that I didn't have to spend physical dollars for it, because this brings me to the second part. I don't think it's worth it. I really don't. I don't want to say they did the Johnston dirty, but it's just not what I was hoping for. It has no gimmick. Yes, it's got sap, semi-armor piercing shells, and that, I guess, is the gimmick they went with. But when you put the Johnston next to the Fletcher, it's just not as good as the Fletcher. I mean, the torps are a little longer, but it takes well over 2 minutes for them to reload. They don't do as much damage either, so it's not really a torp boat. I mean, you can use the Fletcher as a torp boat. The Fletcher is a great torp boat. Its torps reload really fast. You've got the same hit points. Its anti-aircraft capabilities aren't really as good. I mean, by not as good, I mean they're pretty much the same. So it's not like you're going to knock down airplanes like the Kid, which would have been nice. The guns aren't as good as the Fletchers. They're not faster firing at all. In fact, the Fletcher, I think I've got mine at 3.3 right now, and this is 4.5. The only thing it has is that alternate firing mode, which allows you to fire off 3 or 4 salvos in very quick succession before having to wait 8.5 seconds for a reload. So really all you have on this ship that is better than the Fletcher is sap. And it's not even as fast firing as the Fletcher. The only other thing I think you have that is better than Fletcher, you might have a little more maneuverability. I can't remember. I mean, a few ticks to the speed, additional speed, but that's it. So what does the Johnston do that the Fletcher doesn't? Nothing really. If you go in there trying to think you're a gunboat and cruise in, you're going to get gunned down because you're still a Fletcher. And that sap still has a ridiculously long reload if you're using the alternate fire mode. So if you go up against a Kitakaze, full power, or a Haragumo, or just about any other gunboat, you're going to get gunned down. So sap isn't some magical thing that allows you to take out other destroyers really well. So you don't have that makes you stand out. It's there, but I mean, it's not like it's spectacular. And as I just stated, every other thing you have is Fletcher-esque, but gimped. So if it came down to the Johnston versus the Fletcher, and if I could only play one of them permanently or exclusively, I would choose the Fletcher. And I hate saying that because I wanted the Johnston for the longest time. I wanted this ship to fill that gap, to quench my historic thirst. But as it stands, I do not recommend you purchase this ship because it is a lot of money and it's just not as good as the Fletcher in my opinion. And the reasons for that, primarily the torpedo reload, just the torpedoes not being as good, the guns firing slower than the Fletcher despite having that sap, the alternate firing mode just isn't worth those doubloons. So basically this ship has nothing that sets it apart from the Fletcher or makes it better, other than sap, being able to use that every now and then. And don't get me wrong, the sap does hurt. You can hurt ships with the sap. You can hurt other destroyers if you catch them unawares. I mean, could this ship be good? Yeah, possibly if you use it with a div mate that knows what they're doing in a DD. Yeah, you could probably use it to good effect. But if you're a solo player out there just looking for a Fletcher to go out there and have fun in, no. I would avoid this ship, and it pains me so much to say that because I think this ship could have been so much better or been so much closer to what it did historically. I mean, they could have added increased hit points. They could have done some kind of health regen when you get low enough to make it, you know, just stand out and have that gimmick that would be more similar to just what it did historically. I mean, the sap, yeah, they're trying to make it a gunboat because the ship did face off point blank against the center force. But, I mean, it was more about its survivability than anything else. And I think they just kind of missed that key fact about the survivability. So, you know, if I was to give this ship a rating, maybe 2.5 out of 5, maybe 3, because the Fletcher's a great ship and it's similar to the Fletcher, but it's just, I mean, gimped in many ways. And I think they did that because of the sap, but the sap's just not, it's not good enough to make it stand out or make it worth the money that you have to pony up to get this ship. So really, you're just paying for the name, and that's it. They are trying to tug at the heartstrings and just the sentimental value of this ship, which, judging by the amount of Johnstons I've seen out there, it's kind of fallen short. I haven't seen too many, maybe a handful, but it's just not. I think if they'd gone the coal route, you'd be seeing a lot more, and honestly, I think the ship is only worth coal at this point. It is definitely not worth doubloons. So again, if you're wondering or if you're on the fence whether you should get this, don't cough up those doubloons. Hold on to them for something else. And yeah, again, this pains me. It really pains me to say this, but there it is. I've waited half a decade for this ship, if not longer, and it's here now, and I'm disappointed. I really am. Just on the execution and everything regarding this ship. So let me know what you think if you do have it. Maybe your views are a little different on the Johnston. Maybe you feel it is better than what I've said it is. It feels nice to be in the audio booth, though, doing a video right now. It's been, what, forever? It feels like it's been forever. But now that I got the ship review out of the way, yeah, just tell you what's been going on. Raising kids, being a dad, that type of thing. Got a lot of Army stuff going on, too. Currently in a year-long class so that I can get that full bird here eventually. So, yeah, things are really, really, really busy in the Zoop household. Especially with the two little ones being close to 4.5 now. Time really does fly. So yeah, these videos are going to be sparse and more like when I feel like doing it. I still love connecting with you all and seeing you all in game. So make sure you say hey if you do see me. I miss this in some ways, and in some ways, you know, the time was right. It's life. There's a lot going on, and I'm happy, and I hope you all are too. So I'll catch you all later. Zoop out.